this story seems to naturally have so many cinematic elements to it. The underdog side of things, there's thrilling car races, and I imagine that there were a lot of different incarnations throughout the years. So how long have you been working on this project, and what was the evolution?
Many, many people tried to make this movie, including myself and Peter Chernin. All of us failed. And it came back around to us when Jim got involved and had not only like this incredible clarity of vision, but also, not to be crass, he had just, earned the studio gobs of money when he had made Logan, and he had a lot of leverage with them.
Thank you.
And he found his perfect cast, and it all just, the time seemed right.
So, James, what was it about this story that made you want to come on board, not only as a director, but as a producer as well?
What I found the characters, I first kind of encountered the story in 2010, 2011, back when Jenno and those guys were first dancing with it, and I just found the story captivating. I'm not a big motorsports person. It was just the characters were really beautiful to me, interesting, unique, a unique moment in American history, and a kind of metaphor. The car always in movies is kind of a metaphor, and somehow I saw in auto racing and this effort these characters were making, I think I identified with them on a lot of levels. Making movies is not all that different than getting a car on the road, and I think that was it. I'm not stupid. The dynamism of car racing, the beauty of those cars, that was all alluring as a backdrop and a kind of world to put it in. And in many ways, sometimes, the thing that you don't get, like I didn't get motorsports or what was exciting about them. I make almost my journey in the movie to get, so that that it's a world I don't completely understand means I have a lot to learn. And that makes the trip exciting.
And Christian, you're no stranger to playing real people, but what were the challenges and I guess also the pleasures of playing Ken Miles?
There's so much pleasure in playing Ken Miles. We were looking at this very brief moment in the lives of Shelby and Miles, and he was such fun to play. I think that it was a real gift in that. Ken Miles was not your stereotypical racing driver who was often imagined to be a very strong, silent type and unreadable. And also, thank God, that era had open helmets, so we could see the face. It makes such a huge difference. Imagine all those races without nothing. You go, well, I don't know, does he enjoy this or not? I've got no idea. But it allowed us to really show just this absolute sort of transcendence, this joy that he gets of really being raw and alive, in those moments, and being, quite a kooky at times, eccentric, but to me, absolutely adorable, lovable character. I so loved playing him.
James, am I right in saying that you wanted Christian Bale and Matt Damon from the very beginning for these characters?
You're right.
So what was it about them that you thought had the particular qualities for these roles?
Well, first of all, they're both incredibly great actors, just period, and full stop. So and I've known them both for many, many years, and it was just, you don't know anything, you just have an instinct about there being ways that these particular very creative souls will connect with these characters and with each other. And I can't say I knew it would work, but you just kind of have a feeling.
Yeah, the chemistry is there, the history is there. When you meet the characters, they have this sense of history already. So, Christian, was that something that you and Matt had to work on, or did you already have that naturally?
No, we'd crossed paths many times over the years. In fact, my wife had worked on a film that Jim did many, many years ago and had met Matt on that, so they knew each other. But yeah, no, I don't really conform to the whole thing of, in order to act like friends, people have to be friends and go and hang out, In fact, I would find that really confusing, because then I would go hang out if we had done it. We didn't. But if we had, I would have gone and hung out with Matt, and Matt would have really gotten to know me, and then I would have gone, oh, bugger. now I'm on the set, I've got to be Ken Miles. And now I feel like an idiot because he knows how much I'm acting. So I prefer not to get to know the other actors that much. Instead, because then I can get away with acting more and maybe they don't know how hard I'm trying right now.
Christian, you also did some driving. What did those car racing scenes require for you, and how much training did you do?
I got away with, convincing Jim and everybody that I needed to go do a racing school for it, which was a lot of fun. And actually, it was Bob Bondurant's racing school, and he was a peer of Ken Miles. And so I would do the racing, and then myself and Robert Nagel, the stunt coordinator, we would sit and have lunch with Bob, and he would just tell us yarns about Ken Miles, and it was absolutely fantastic. And learned a little bit, of when you're actually driving and being that close to other people and whatnot. And I don't know if it changed anything, but I had a lot of fun doing it. And then whenever I could, I did as much as I possibly could, but with the realization that Jim probably wanted the race sequences to be exciting. And if I was behind the wheel, I'd be really excited, but nobody else would. That's all. Yeah.
What kind of research materials did you find the most helpful when it came to understanding who Ken Miles was?
The most useful was his son. I spent time with Peter Miles, and him just chatting, just telling me stories about his dad. Very moving stuff. I watched the film with just Peter and Peter's daughter, Ken's granddaughter, just the three of us. That was incredibly moving to do that. And he provided me with a lot of materials and articles. And there are books, some including Ken, some about Ken. But not much in the way of, compared to Shelby, he did so many different interviews. Ken Miles, there's not much, a few when he was winning. And he always had odd thing, I had to make a choice because he always sounded extremely plummy. He sounded sort of this BBC sort of a voice thing going on. And I was like, wait, he's from the Midlands. Nobody sounds like that in the Midlands. And so I kind of went, okay, well, maybe that was because he's on TV and he feels like that's the way you have to speak. And Peter is born in America, and he wasn't able to help me with that at all. He was like, I have no idea what the accent. So I sort of went, okay, I'll do a better spoken Midlands Brummie accent for him.
Well, thank you all for being here.